the Monday after Easter, Roland started to have multiple seizures, yelling at the priests that Satan would always be with him. At this point, the priests placed crucifixes, holy trinkets and rosemary beads on the boy's body, and they all began to demand that Satan leave and prayed for St. Michael to appear and defeat Satan. A grueling 7 minutes later, Roland came out of his trance-like state and simply said, "He's gone." He then went on to describe what he'd seen whilst he had been possessed. He claimed to have seen St. Michael battle Satan on a great battlefield, and Satan was defeated. And there you have it. That is the supposed true story behind the Exorcist movie. The story was first published in the Washington Post in 1949 and disappeared from the public for 2 decades. The diaries of Halloran and Borden were somehow revealed to the public, and it's from these diaries that William Peter Blatty wrote his novel The Exorcist, which was responsible for the movie and ultimately responsible for the evil associated with the Ouija board, which all started with the alleged possession of a 14-year-old boy in Maryland. Now, many believe that the Ouija board is nothing more than a game, a harmless game that is controlled by the player's subconscious, even if they realise it or not. And they've actually given a name to this. It's called the ideomotor effect. This is a psychological condition where people make certain motions unconsciously. If you break down the words, here's what you get. Ideo meaning idea or mental representation, and motor meaning muscular action. And the idea is that muscular movement can occur, but on a subconscious level. You're not actually aware that you're doing it, and your brain doesn't connect the two together. So, take this for example. A group of people are sat around a Ouija board, and they think they've made contact with a spirit, and they ask that spirit to spell out its name. Let's say the spirit's name is Bill. So they ask it to spell out its name, and Bill successfully spells out his name. Now, the ideomotor effect suggests that the name is actually being spelled out by the people playing, and there is in fact no spirit involved at all. So this time you start again, and you repeat the same Ouija board seance you did last time, and you once again ask the spirit to spell out its name. But this time, unlike the last, every player playing is to be blindfolded. Well, this time the results will more than likely be very different, spelling out not Bill, but possibly a load of gibberish. I mean, look, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to debunk the Ouija board, not at all. As you know from previous episodes, I just like to look on both sides, the possibility that it's real and the possibility that it might not be. What if science and psychology is wrong? What if the Ouija board is in fact an object to open doors to the unknown? What if you can contact ancient demons, lost relatives and helpful spirits? I mean, many people are convinced that the board's connection to the other side is in fact real and not a trick of the mind. Before I actually started this, I reached out on Facebook on the Bizarre Podcast group and asked a couple of the listeners what do they actually think of the Ouija board. Have they ever played with it? And I got a few responses back. Some of the responses were short and sweet, and they just said, don't play with Ouija boards. I recommend you don't play with a Ouija board. Don't go near a Ouija board. And I'll just say this now, I've never played with a Ouija board, and I never will play with a Ouija board. No matter which way I sway on whether it's real or fakery, I wouldn't risk it anyway. But anyway, here's a few of the answers I got from the Facebook group. Okay, so the first response I got was from a Carrie Tiffany Merton. She said she's tried using one several times, but absolutely nothing happened. The second message is from Debbie, which reads, I was 7 years old when my cousin and I were in her bedroom, and she asked a question, which I don't remember anymore, and the statue of Mary fell off the dresser across the room, and her head broke off. I've never touched another Ouija board, or been up to her bedroom again. The next one is off Jeffrey Murphy. Jeffrey says that he's tried a bunch of times, nothing ever happened. Either I stopped working it, or my board was possessed by a mime. I mean, it is possible. I suppose mimes have ghosts too. The next one is off Naomi Williams. Nothing, other than the feeling of energies being drawn in by my thought. I did it by myself and I could feel the presence of beings, but no physical manifestation. Well, I say if you could feel the presence of beings in the room, then that's not nothing. I think you did actually experience something, Naomi. I mean, whether it was something conjured up from your mind or whether it was something conjured up by the Ouija board, who knows? Selena says, haven't yet, only because my mum won't allow it in her house. Well, I can understand why she won't allow it in her house. And the next one, Bo Knight, he just simply says, hell no. That's it, hell no. You see where he stands on the subject. Jennifer says, my cousin had one. My parents went over to their house for a games night. Many years ago, my dad hadn't told anyone about an uncle in America, as World War II was a tough subject for him, being German. He never really spoke about it. When they began, they asked it questions relating to my dad, as he was quiet about his past, and it answered several questions which he later confirmed. When the uncle in the US was revealed by the board, Dad let go of the pointer and refused to play ever again. Thanks for that one, Jennifer. That was an interesting one. Thank you. Matilda simply says, it's dangerous. And Charlena Campbell writes, I've never used one, but when I was around 8 years old, my aunt's husband was having to work a double shift, so my mum and my other aunts were staying the night. They decided to play the Ouija board. They had been asking it all kinds of questions when it spelled out Ray, my aunt's husband's name, then fire, then death, and accident. My aunt freaked out and they stopped playing. My mum was trying to console my aunt when the planchette flew off the board and hit the wall. The next morning, my aunt got the news that her husband died in a crash. His car had caught on fire and he burned to death. True story. And directly below this comment, Patricia Warner responds to Charlene Campbell's message. She says, trouble is, people treat the boards like another board game. It's not Monopoly, it's real. You don't play with such boards. If you know what you're doing, use them with respect. If not, don't dabble. You don't know what you might be starting. I'm sorry your aunt was so distressed, Charlena. Spirit gave her appropriate news, but in a blunt manner, which upset her hours before the actual incident. Any questions need to be carefully chosen before putting forward, and we have to be prepared for them. Not all are good. I just keep away from the Ouija boards. And Cameron, the presenter from My Alien Life podcast, has also commented, and he says that he had an aunt named Ouija, and he's not kidding. Now, the thing about Cameron is he's quite sarcastic on the group, so I never know whether to believe him or not. I'll tell you what, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt this time. The next is Sandy Austin Swanson, Briety, and she says, I was young, maybe 5th grade. My friend had come back from Alabama. I let her question the board with me guiding the planchette. She asked her mum's best friend's name back in Alabama. It spelled out a bizarre name I'd never seen before, much less could have spelled. My friend took off running for home screaming. My other friend and I burnt the board with backyard trash. And you know what, I think burning it seemed like a pretty good idea, Sandy. Well done. Thanks for writing in. And the next one is from Raven Hardy. She says, as a psychic medium, I've had to help people who mess with a spirit board and became possessed. They are portals to places better left alone. They are not a game. They are not harmless. Please, please, please do not play with them. Dark, evil entities lurk by them waiting for a chance to come through. Thanks for that, Raven. You're not the only one, believe me, who are not fans of the Ouija board. Since I announced that I was going to do this episode, I've had so many messages telling me not to mess with the boards, even though I weren't going to. I've just been researching the boards. But like, you're not on your own. You're not the only one. And I want to say a big thank you to everyone who posted a comment for the show. It's great to actually see some interaction now with the Facebook group and people wanting to get involved. That's nice. And as we come to the end of the episode now, I've come to see that quite a lot of you do actually believe that the Ouija boards are dangerous. And who am I to say otherwise? You know, as always, I remain open-minded. But what do you think? Is it a doorway to hell? A connection to the spirit world? Or a load of hocus pocus? As always, I'll let you decide. Have yourself a very happy Halloween, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.